Hawaii, which is also nicknamed as the Aloha State, is the only state in America that is made up of an archipelago of 8 major volcanic islands, several atolls, and numerous smaller islets in the North Pacific Ocean, and the only state that is not geographically connected to North America. But these unique geographical features of Hawaii are putting a lot of stress on its people and are forcing many to migrate to mainland US permanently, and here's why. If you take a look at the migration pattern within the United States from 2022, it's evident that Hawaii ranks amongst the top jurisdictions for population loss. And according to some experts, the state could keep losing its people for years to come. Now, the usual narrative for Hawaii's population loss, and many Americans not choosing to move to Hawaii for the most part, hovers around high costs of living, higher income tax and state policies, and generally high demand for housing and goods and services. But the whole premise of Hawaii's situation is actually because of its geography. You see, Hawaii is the only state in America that is completely surrounded by water in the Pacific Ocean. Furthermore, it is around 2,000 miles or 3,200 kilometers from mainland US, which leads to few major problems. First of all, having such a large disconnect from the mainland creates major logistical problems. Many goods and services that are not locally available in Hawaii are required to be imported from the mainland. And because air and water are the only 2 transportation means to bring in goods, it adds significantly to the cost of those goods and services. For example, a head of lettuce that might cost $2 in the mainland can cost up to $5 or more in Hawaii. Another major problem that leads to the increased cost of goods and services is the way these islands are formed and inhabited. You see, the state of Hawaii is made up of 8 individual volcanic islands, which unfortunately are not connected to each other by any man-made infrastructure like bridges or underwater tunnels, which means transporting goods and services within the state itself becomes challenging. The distance between the Big Island and Maui is about 93 miles, and the distance between Kauai and Oahu is around 100 miles. The closest island to each other are Oahu and Molokai, which are still 26 miles apart, which makes even interstate or inter-island travel, for the lack of a better word, expensive. For example, the cost of shipping a package from Honolulu to Maui can range from $50 to $100, depending on the weight and size of the package. Or to ship a refrigerator, excluding the cost of the product, from Oahu to Kauai can range anywhere from $200 to $350. Furthermore, due to the large distances between the islands, the availability of land becomes diminished. Out of the 8 main islands, only 7 are inhabited and only 6 are open to tourists and locals. And out of the 6 available islands, the availability of usable land is further restricted due to its topography. You see, all the islands of Hawaii were formed by millions of years of volcanic eruption over the Hawaiian hotspot, which means a lot of available land has a rugged volcanic terrain which is not suitable for urban development or farming. And this feature is ubiquitous across all the major islands. If you take a look at the population distribution map of Hawaii, it's evident that most of the people live near the base of the island and near the coast because that's the only place with relatively flat land for urban development. Only the island of Oahu is exceptionally flat with a more even terrain. And that's the reason why most of the population is concentrated in Oahu, which also has the capital of Hawaii, Honolulu. With limited urban capacity and more demand for housing, the cost of housing naturally goes up. For example, the median home price in Honolulu is around $800,000, which is much higher than the national average of $375,000. Furthermore, there is a high demand for housing in Hawaii because Hawaii offers a great tropical experience with moderate weather around the year, beautiful scenery, and ample opportunities for outdoor recreation, which puts more pressure on the already inflated housing prices. Moreover, there is a constant threat of earthquakes, volcanic eruptions, and wildfires on the islands. The state of Hawaii is predominantly a volcano and possesses a threat to its inhabitants. Although most of the volcanoes are dormant and only 4 are currently active, with the majority of them on the Big Island, which has a population of over 200,000 residents, the risks unequivocally persist. Nevertheless, Hawaii is a tropical paradise, and a lot of people would like to live there. It's not easy on the pockets of the people with the median income any less than $75,000. And only 17% of the US population currently makes over 75 grand a year. Although Hawaii is a beautiful state and a great tourist destination, it's very difficult for many locals to keep up with the cost of living in the state, and many of them have started to consider moving to a less expensive state. And for many, it will always be a once-in-a-year vacation destination only. This is Stories Across, and thank you for watching.